Welcome back to From Creation to Eternity, where we explore the story of the Bible in a simple, warm, and personal way. In our last episode, we talked about the beginning of everything, how God created the world, made man and woman, and how sin entered through disobedience. Today, we continue the journey. We'll see how sin grew, how God responded, and how he still showed mercy through one man who walked closely with him. After Cain killed his brother Abel, he went away from God's presence and started his own family line. Cain had a son named Enoch. From Cain came many generations of people who became known for building cities, raising livestock, playing musical instruments, and crafting tools of bronze and iron. But even with all their achievements, they didn't walk closely with God. Meanwhile, Adam and Eve had another son. His name was Seth, and through Seth came a new line, one that began to call on the name of the Lord. Seth had a son named Enosh, and from that point on, people began to seek God. Again, from Seth's line came men like Enoch, who walked with God and was no more because God took him. Eventually, many generations later came Noah. By the time Noah was born, the world had become deeply corrupt. People were violent, selfish, and constantly doing evil. God saw that the hearts of humans were filled with wickedness, and it grieved him deeply. But Noah still walked with God. God told Noah that he would send a flood to wipe out the corruption of the earth. But he gave Noah the task to build an ark to carry Noah, his family, and two of every kind of animal, so they could survive the coming flood. Noah obeyed, even though he didn't fully understand what was coming. For years he worked on the ark, and when the time came, he entered with his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives. Then it rained for 40 days and 40 nights non-stop. Everything outside the ark was destroyed, but inside, Noah and his family were safe. After the waters receded, God made a covenant with Noah, placing a rainbow in the sky as a sign of his promise. Never again would he destroy the earth with a flood. After the flood, Noah's sons had children, and the earth began to fill again. But soon people started to think more of themselves and less of God. Instead of spreading out across the earth, as God commanded, they decided to stay in one place and build a tower that reached the heavens, the Tower of Babel. They wanted to make a name for themselves, but God saw their pride and confusion. To stop them, he caused them to speak different languages so they can understand one another. The people scattered across the earth, and the tower was left unfinished. That's how different nations and languages began. From the line of Noah's son Shem came a man named Terah. Terah had 3 sons, Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And it is from this point that the next major chapter of the Bible begins the story of Abram, later called Abraham, the man through whom God would begin to form a chosen nation. As we've seen today, even when people turned their backs on God from Cain's line to the builders of Babel, God was still working. He remembered Noah and protected his family. Do you ever feel like the world around you is drifting away from God? Like Noah, are you willing to walk with God even when no one else does? God always notices those who stay close to him, and just like Noah, your obedience can impact generations. Thanks for spending this time with me. In the next episode, we'll dive into the life of Abram, a man who left everything behind to follow a promise. Until then, stay encouraged, stay rooted, and remember God's story is still unfolding and you're part of it.